As a landowner and a manager, there's not a lot of things you can do that are fast when it comes to changing your habitat. But a fire is something that has an immediate effect.
Initially, the first thing we want any landowner to do when we do a controlled burn is to have adequate fire breaks. The controlled burn is a good, useful tool, but you need to make sure that it's controlled. So the first thing you need to do is put adequate fire breaks in that can control your fire. And we'll take a look at your property and take a look at what you may need and evaluate it, determine where we need to install fire breaks if they're needed, and we provide that service with AFC equipment. When you're looking at managing your land, a lot of folks think about food plots, and that's where they want to put a lot of their money. Typical food plots can run you $125 an acre or so. When you're talking about doing a prescribed burn, you're talking about total probably $25 an acre. It's a lot more cost efficient. And then the second part about it is you cover more acreage. Your food plots are going to last you 3 months out of the year, maybe a little more. You're talking about burning a large piece of land, all of your acreage, and providing vegetation and habitat for them to eat the other 9 months out of the year.
As a wildlife photographer, prescribed burning benefits the subject that I concentrate on, which is wild turkeys. It benefits pretty much all wildlife, but by burning that excess fuel out of the pine plantations and even hardwoods in certain situations, you are taking that fuel out for one thing, but you're also exposing a lot of native and natural occurring forbs and grasses that may need that fuel off of them in order to germinate. Turkeys love to come into burns shortly after when everything starts greening up. They can find bugs, they can find seeds and scratch around, and they make pretty happy turkeys, and that's what I need here.
Typical burning season is usually January through green up in early April. The latter months, the summer months and fall months, if you're not well versed on what you're doing, you can damage your overstory, your mature timber, and that's not what you want. What you want to do is eliminate your understory and the vegetation that's there. You want to kill off your shrubs and your small trees that are not hard massed and are unwanted.
With deer, when you open up, and especially when you get into mid-rotation where you've thinned the first time, you're letting some sunlight in, when you do a prescribed burn, then you really get a flush of regenerated native forbs, and that creates bedding cover, security cover, browse, all kinds of native plants that are important to a whitetail's diet. Pine plantations that are prescribed burned and throughout their mid-rotation and later stages are some of the best places to hunt.
Prescribed burning is real good for an aspect for the landowner. Probably one of the most effective tools he can use, as at the same time being an efficient, cost-efficient tool. Your goal is to release the forest floor to the sunlight. There's seeds within that soil that need to be released, and the only efficient way to do that is with fire. Also, through using fire, you're basically gaining a natural fertilizer, because all those nutrients that are stored within that organic layer, that dead material, the leaf litter, is released by that fire as it breaks it down, in which the new growth can absorb that and become more palatable to your deer and digestible to your deer and turkey. Most of your wildlife species benefit from that early successional growth because it's resetting it. It's causing new growth, which is more nutritious. The buds, the tender ends of the grasses and forbs as well. Fire can also be a great tool for suppressing and controlling species that would grow up and shade out some of your more desirable plants. So some of these volunteer pines or hardwood saplings that would compete with your more native browse that you're desiring. Fire ends up being a great tool for controlling that and killing this out. The benefits to wildlife would be increasing nutritional values. you're able to influence the age structure of the forest stand and the diversity of plants that are out there, which serve as food and cover for those animals.